One of the things that I've found to really help streamline the course and make it much easier to find what we need students to find is to limit the options on the side. So right now, students can see a lot of things. So there's no modules. So you can mouse over it and you can see if it's hidden because there's no content or if because you've deliberately hidden it. So you can look and see by just putting your mouse over these eyes. But this is a whole lot of different buttons for students that they can get distracted with, and honestly, that you don't really need either. So on here, it's hidden by this. So I'm going to minimize my screen a little. I want to click on settings. And then I'm going to come to navigation. So on here, I have all of these different options, but my students don't need to see them because in class, I might only need them to have a couple options. So on here, my students don't need to see new analytics. That's one I haven't had a chance to play around with. They don't need to see studio. Please leave monitoring and reporting. Your students won't see this one, but you might need it if things aren't transferring over to PowerSchool correctly. This is where you would go to check to see Google Drive. They're not going to need to see that. They have access to it if they need it for other parts. Nearpod, I embed those directly in assignments, so they don't need that. If you are using a class that uses ConnectEd, so right now that would be elementary math, that would be middle school and high school's health, and also I believe some high school social studies classes, you want to leave that. This class, I'm not going to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down here. I want to leave modules. In fact, I'm going to move that up to the top. Things like assignments, yeah, my students are going to have assignments, but they're going to find them in modules. And that's a much better option because if they have to go through the whole list, it becomes a whole lot of things that they need to look at. So for example, let's come over to another course. So here's our e-learning one. If we were to come over here and my students, I told them do this assignment and they had to go find it, you can see I've got a ton of different assignments. Same with if I were to send them to pages. So remember, when you've got a home page, you need to click on View All Pages. So I have tons and tons of pages. And even though it's in alphabetical order, I mean, we've all experienced it. It's right in front of your face and you don't see it. It's easier to just have students find it in the modules. So if they know instead that they're looking for module 1, they can come down and find it in module 1. So that's a much more streamlined approach. They're not getting lost searching for something. Especially, you can see here, I've got page, I've got assignment, page, or I think the rocket might be a quiz. So when you've got lots of different things within your module, so they're not all going to be on the same page. So I might be going to quizzes, I might be going to discussion boards, I might be going to pages. It's so much easier to just give them the setting for just go to modules. So here you can see with Student View, which you already see when you're in the course, all they have here is announcements, modules, conferences. So if they need to go find something, they either find it on that main page or they come over to modules. So over here, you can just go through, drag everything down that you want to drag down, and then Google has trained me that I don't have to save things, so I have done this many times only to find out I click out and have to redo it. Remember to click save. I'm still in student view, so it's denying me access. So I would have to go back and redo that. I'm not going to, but you get the point. So you click save, and then you will have a much smaller menu over here where students aren't getting lost and confused because they don't know where to click. Here they only have a couple options for where to click.